Hello everybody, I'm Joy and welcome back to ChinesePod.
Hi everybody, this is Joe.
And in our tone series, we've got a combination of 2 words that we taught before, and now we're going to add one onto that. So we're going to do 3-word tone changes.
Actually, I wanted to ask you that question. Like, what happens when we have, for example, 3 third tones together?
It sounds like you're robotic
Yeah.
if you say all 3 of them together. Ni hao mei.
Yeah, so of course I would not want to say them like all in third tones. Right?
Exactly. So we want to build on what we learned before. Do you remember the rule for the 2 words from before?
I think when we have 2 third tones together, then we change the first third tone to a second tone, right?
Yes, for example.
很好.
很好. Good. So 很好. So we're going to build on that and we're going to add one more. So we can see 很好 as one unit. Now there are plenty of ways to put Chinese words into phrases or units, and that changes how we'll change the tone. But we're going to give you the most common variation right now, which is A plus group together B and C. So for example, B and C, that would be 很好.
Oh, okay.
Now we have the first word, which is 我. We're going to put that in 我很好. So we don't change that first tone, 我. We keep it as a third tone, and then 很好. 我很好.
我很好.
It goes 3, 2, 3.
Okay, but the first, in like the tone in 我 is a little bit different.
It sounds shorter, right?
Yeah.
So if we give the full third tone, 我很好, then Chinese would take forever. But usually, when we say it in a phrase, we have that half third tone.
Oh.
我很好. So instead of 我, that sort of round third tone, we have 我, which is just a little bit curt. And it just flows right into the second word. So that goes 我很好.
So it's basically become 我很好.
Yeah, sort of like the first one blends into the second
okay.
one.
That's good.
我很好. Okay, so let's do some practice. 我很好. 我很好.
No, let me try that. 我很好. 我很好.
Good, and that means?
I'm very good.
Very good. So how are you?
I'm good.
我很好. Okay, I've got another one that's 你好美. 你好美.
你好美. 你好美. Which means you're very beautiful.
Oh, 谢谢.
Joy. 你很美.
Oh.
好美.
好美. So you can use 很美 or 好美, and both just means very beautiful, or one. So they're interchangeable, and the tone variation is the same. All right, I've also got 你想我. 你想我. Wow, I'm so self-obsessed right now.
你想我 means you miss me. Okay, so and the pronunciation was 你想我. 你想我. Oh.
Very good. All right, and I've also got one more. Now, in the previous variations, we had the subject in the beginning and then the verb phrase in the end. So that's A, and then we have plus, and then BC together. So 很好, 想我, 很美, 好美. Those are descriptions, not really verb phrases, but descriptions. So we could put them in a unit. Now, sometimes we don't have a subject, but this phrase goes together as well. And this goes something like this. 买手表. So 买 is to buy. 手表 goes together. It means watch. So of course, we would separate the verb from the actual subject. So we have 手表. And 手表 follows the tone variation that Joe previously mentioned, which 手 is normally a third tone. 手表. We have second tone, third tone. And when we add that first tone, the first word, 买, which is to buy, that third tone remains 买手表. 买手表.
买手表. 买手表.
Ah, that's it.
Okay, good.
Ooh, all right. So that was really good. Okay, I have a really hard one to quiz you. If I want to say, 买5把雨伞. Okay. Your
Can
face.
you repeat that, please?
To buy 5 umbrellas So if we break down every single word separately, it goes 买五八雨伞
So it's all third tones.
I'm basically rapping right now. 买
买
五八雨伞
把雨伞
How do we group them into units to see what's changed?
Probably when you think about logically, 买 maybe alone.
Okay, 买. So
买.
买.
Then 五把 is probably together.
And then the last two?
And the last was 雨伞雨伞雨伞
Yeah, so we group the umbrella, the 5 units, and then the buying separately. So it goes 买五把雨伞 买五把雨伞
买五把雨伞
Yeah.
买五把雨伞
That's it. Now we don't have to sound like we're rapping. Although I kind of like that version too, but then it would just be really confusing. So when you do actually break down the Chinese, it's really interesting because there might be a debate on how it's broken down, but I would say just speak it and hear it a lot and then see how the words break down. Observe these tone changes. It appears in daily conversation and it's super useful to know the rules, and then you just want to fall back on them once you speak Chinese.
Okay, so can I just ask, like, so it may be that, for example, I have a sentence and that one person speaks it like separates the units like this, and the other person may separate it a little bit differently if I have that many third tones together, or?
I think usually, language is meant to be understood. So the exact way might vary sometimes, but generally it's all the same because it's just how people commonly speak. So that would just be the colloquialism of the flow of the language. And for example, once we do no separate phrases, when we put them together, the tones pretty much stay the same, like 雨伞五把 and then 买. So we'll sort of just get how they're pieced together once we speak it a lot, and then it'll sound the same.
So in the end, it all comes down to like getting used to how people speak and just adapt to what you hear and just copy it.
Exactly, exactly. And don't be afraid to make mistakes, because even if you sound like you're rapping, you can always verify it by asking somebody who speaks it, and they'll happily help you.
That's good.
All right, and that's it for our tone series. My name's Joy.
And my name is Joe.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Introducing ChinesePod Recap, the app with fast summary lessons. How much time do you have? Join us in the beta program. For more info, go to ChinesePod.com/recap.